And we're live. Hey guys, welcome back to Whiskey Charlie, the Wargame Chat, our monthly show on YouTube. I'm your host, Mo from Mo's Game Table, and joining me are my esteemed co-hosts. Made a little more fancy this month. Everybody's favorite Gimp with the Limp, the Gimpy Gamers. How's it going, Nate?
It's another glorious day.
There you
Still
go.
struggling over this damn chest cold my kids gave me a couple weeks ago. It's lingering. It just will not go.
Not
It's
gone
one of
away,
the-
huh?
No, it just settled right in the chest, and it's like I'm stuck. It's
It
driving
sucks.
me nuts because the whole family got it. I got it, got sick with it, and then the wife came down with it, and then all the kids, and everyone's still coughing and hacking, and it's just
Yeah.
nasty.
Definitely sucks.
Yeah,
And the Wargaming Wizard from Oz, Kev Sharp from the Big Board. How's it going, Kev?
Doing great. Super
I
happy
know
to
you're
be
doing
here.
great. Look behind you. You have that awesome room. And unlike Gimpy and me, that's not a fake backdrop.
That's not a fake background. It's the real deal, bitches. Gimpy, you know what you can do to fix your chest thing? More push-ups. That'll help build your chest up.
Wow. And you guys have missed this for the whole last, couple of weeks. We've been trying to get a show going and we reschedule. So I saw some people were saying, we're really going to have a show tonight. Yeah, we are. So sorry about the mix-ups and the scheduling, but it's been a little nutty with everything going on. As Tim says, finally having this show. Yes, we are. And so it's good to see everybody in the chat getting in their hellos.
Hey, Charles. Oh, man. We've got some Belgians.
Belgium, yeah. It's always great to have that international reach.
Aaron,
Maryland.
what's up, man? Maryland.
Kevin is New Digs. That's right. Hey, Brian. Stuka Joe. And Grognard Rich. Greetings from Orlando. So it's always great to have you guys along. And then, of course, Nick in there. He was the first one that got in earlier tonight, and he was looking to see if anybody was here. He said hello, and I responded, I'm sorry we're not here right now, but if you leave your name and number, we'll call you back. So, and then he, of course, ordered the burger and fries. So that'll be right out to you.
Orange whip.
So aside from, the past few weeks, last month, actually, since we had a show, you finally moved into your new war room and you've got everything set up. And I was just telling you backstage, I've talked to you about it before, that, you made my heart stop a little when I saw that you had that gorgeous view. You got those tables out there and you had the doors open. I was like, oh shit, I'm just going to fly away.
Well, it's going to be, it'll be exciting when I find a game that I don't really like. There'll be no Plex on the table. The windows will be open. And if there's no breeze, I'll get a fan and we'll just blow it out the door. And that will be your sign not to buy.
Well, that's what you do with, if you play a modern game, you have the plexi down and everything until you get to the nuclear weapons phase. Once the nuclear weapons release is okay, and you want to see if it's going to happen or not, you just let the fates decide at that point. If the map gets blown up, well, there you go, nuclear Armageddon.
I could even light the maps on fire because they're metal tables, so it should all work out great, right? I should try that. I should test that.
Can you actually use plexiglass? I've got it, but I haven't been able to use it in years because the lighting just reflects off of it. It's almost
You don't record professionally. So
this is Kev we're talking about here.
I really don't give a rat's ass whether you can see or not. I'm just playing the game.
Oh, as long as you can see, that's all that matters, right?
That's all I can see. Oh, what's that light? Oh, never mind. It's a UFO. Yeah.
Ed's saying that you're going to make Wayne jealous with the bad reviews.
Yeah, well, all right. Well,
that's true. The OST counters are a little heavier. They're nice, beefy counters. So,
yeah, I just played OST the other day.
Yeah, and a mountain map too. So,
it's like Burning Banners. Their counters are what, inch, at least.
Yeah, they're big counters, right?
Yeah, very, very, very thick.
Are they your inches or regular inches?
But regular inches,
special inches, like centimeters,
special inches.
Millimeters.
Gimpy has special inches, not interests. Inches.
As long as it makes me happy, that's all that matters.
And you guys have missed out on this clown, horse fuckery for the past month, haven't you guys?
Yeah, well, especially when we don't really have a topic for tonight.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're gonna let the audience pick some topics, but we will be talking about some things like I did get a new game to the table recently.
Oh.
And this one is that's that one from Legion. It's only like $16, and I had gotten it, and I just never got around to it. And I was like,
little small format thing, right?
Yeah. And I really dig the small format of it because I think there's like 60 or 70 counters, and it's just like an 11 by 17 inch map.
Perfect.
That has, it's just beautifully done by Legion because their stuff is really, really good. It always is, quality of their stuff. And I think like 7 pages of rules. I mean, you can knock it out really easy. But the play is there. There's actually decent gameplay there. Now it's not It's not deep. Let's be real. It's not going to be a super deep game, but it's fantastic for solitaire.
Because he had that Legion game that was the Wiki, or what's called.
Yeah. I mean,
that was pretty good.
Yeah, and it's going to be the type of game you can knock out in probably about 90 minutes or less. So it's very much the type of game that, if you're in the mood for a game, it's a work night and you're like, I want to play a game, but I want to set something up, and it's going to take an hour to set up, and you can throw this down and be playing in 10 minutes. It's real simple. So I enjoyed it. I played a couple times and really dug it. The first time I was just kind of screwing around with it, just to get the feel for it and seeing, okay, what do I need to do? What am I doing right? What am I doing wrong? Then the second time I was like, okay, now I'm going to try to go, actually what I should be doing, because you have two objectives. You have Veliki Luki, and then you have Novoskolny, I think it is the name of the town. I could be mispronouncing it.
Yep.
Novoskolniki. And you have to get both. The points are higher for the Germans to protect them than they are for the Soviets to take them. You only get like a point or 2 points, like one for Veliki Luki and one for Novoskolniki. The rest of them are all single points, and then you get points for destroying German units. The Germans get like 9 points for protecting Veliki, and then they get 3 points for Novoskolniki. So it's like there's 12 points right there. So from a defensive standpoint, the Germans really want to just set up as much defense as they can.
Right.
And the interesting thing is you don't start off with a lot of units. They just come in each turn. So they're pouring in, and you got to set them up in the right way to where that the Soviets, if they're going to play it smart, which I didn't do the first time. The second time first time I played it, I was like, I should have surrounded Veliki Luki and just cut it off and cut their thing in half. But it's still a slog to get through and take everything out of there, because even when you surround it and you have all the units there, you still have to get through the shifts that you get. You get 2 shifts for the fortifications in the city, and then one for the city itself. So you're sitting there at 5-1, you're rolling at 2-1 every turn. So
sounds like a 7-inch game.
But it's still tough, and then the Zocs also are key, because you can move into a Zoc and E-Zoc, but you can't move out of one. So you have to, from a defensive standpoint, you want to set up that staggered line where they move in and they can't move out. Whereas you, as the attacker, you need to start pressing as hard as you can, as far as you can, to get in there. So you set up that stepping stone type of thing where my unit is in your E-Zoc, but I get another unit, I can pass through the negated E-Zoc, so I can continue on. So you kind of like
that's a clever
leapfrogging each other.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
So it's kind of neat in that regard.
And there's no armor in that battle either. I think it's all infantry units. So there might be a few scout car units or something like that.
Yeah, there's some ski troops. There's some mechanized. I think there might be a couple. I'd have to look. There might be a couple of armor units,
like recon units or something like that. I don't think it's. I think that's one of the interesting things about the battle is that there's no. It's not a big.
There's at least one. Well, there's a couple of tanks for the Soviets.
For the Soviets, okay,
yeah. For the Soviets, yeah.
Okay, all right.
But from the defense, it's tough. But it's interesting, and then you get to get the units back too. You get to get your replacements too as time goes on. So you want to get like 1 point per. So like if you have a 2-step unit, you can recover 1 point on one turn, and the next turn when you have a replacement, you can flip it completely over and then bring it out on the field, or you just take it out halved, I just found it really fun to play, and I was like, this is a fun game to play solitaire. I think it'll be even more interesting to play opposed, although it's less interesting opposed, I think, for the German, because unless the German player is completely about a defensive mindset with selective counterattacks, because there's times to take a counterattack and times not to. So,
Makes sense. Makes
Yeah.
sense. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds good value for $15-16, right?
Yeah, totally. I hope they come out with more of those, because that's a steal right there. You get hour and a half gameplay every time you play it, and it's got more than one play in it. So that's
Kind of like a Decision Games folio game, but actually playable.
a good one.
Is that print and play for $15?
Yeah, 16 bucks.
Yeah, but it's in a baggie. There's a baggie. It's
that's what I'm saying. Is it print and play or like actual?
Die cut.
No, it's Ziploc.
I'll be damned.
Yeah. And it's only got 70 counters. So you're just, you can clip them real quick and get them on the table. And it's Legion. So, the quality's good.
Yeah. Nice.
So what have you guys been up to?
I'm still stuck on the Fate of All. I've been getting that set up.
Are you playing?
I just got the first scenario set up, and I'm going to do a review video for it and then do a playthrough video. That way, if people just want the review, that's up there. Right. I've covered my bases. Because usually I used to do always the review kind of mixed in through the playthrough, and I think it drug it out too much. Didn't really kind of hit what people wanted. So I'm just going to focus, 20-minute review video and then play it out. And so far it seemed really good. The only thing that I've kind of snuck on is the counters. They're in there a little snug. So you kind of got to cut them out, and clip them. They get a little, you're
a little jaggy. Yeah. The die cuts are never super clean with these games, are they?
No, it could be a lot better. I don't like having to sit there with an X-Acto blade and go through the whole damn thing. I can overlook that though, but I would hate to play this game if you're colorblind or if you're anywhere close.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's terrible.
I mean, all the different units. I mean, I get it because you don't want to have like pink and black, like these garish colors. So they're going for something that will look decent on the board. But when you have, 8, 9, 10 different factions?
Yeah.
And
it's confusing quick.
Yeah. You got to have the different color for all the different factions. We're talking about a shade.
Yeah. And the brown shades or greeny brown shades. It's very, very difficult I got a little frustrated at the start because I'm playing it right now too, Gimpy. So it's hard to, you can't see it now.
Now, of course.
Now yours is really hard to see.
Let me get it.
All these are all the different factions.
What I would suggest in that is, because, I was thinking about it too, when I did the preview video, I was looking going, holy crap, these are really hard to distinguish which faction is which. And the first thing that popped into my head is, as they're out on the table, I'm either going to use like a bingo chip or I'm going to use a cube for that faction. I'm going to know what the colors are and I'm going to put it next to them.
Yeah. You're going to have a couple of different factions. Yeah. And you guys can see the colors there. They're very, very close.
There's not enough variance in them. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so what I know we're kind of like, it sucks to be talking about a game and then picking out all things you don't like. But the other thing I'm not thrilled about is some of the information on the counters is over the artwork. And it's difficult to discern it sometimes. You've got to do a double take and stuff. And it just takes you out of the game, right? And now you get used to it because you go, oh, it's an archer, so he's a 4A or 4 whatever. So you, after a while, but I spoke to Fabrizio about this a couple of times. I was like, you should put an outline around the number, right? Just a white outline around the number so you can see it, or choose a different freaking color. But other than that, so have you played? Have you done any turns yet?
I haven't done real turns with it. I've sat down and just move some units around, and kind of trying to get the rules in the mind, because there are a few things that are in the rules and I'm like, why are you wording it this way? I forget what it is. Something to do with, I think, checking supply or something along those lines. Like if you move so many points, then you have to check, right? But it says if you move 10 movement points worth, then you have to check. And then right below that, almost verbatim, it says if you move 20 movement points worth, you have to check. And I'm like, well, that why are they putting it this way? If you move the 10, you've obviously moved the 20. So why even put the 20 in there? That doesn't make sense.
Well, you got to check twice, right? So you check at 10 and you check,
what that saying?
You check at 20, and then when you're done, there's a final supply phase.
Yeah.
And I forget if that's for everybody, or I think it's for everybody. But basically, look, yeah, so it's funny you mentioned that, because he's got Tony, who's English. I say, oh, jolly well know the Queen's English.
Tony Morford.
You would think that Tony would have gone, hang on a second, that's not bloody right. There's some language in there that I just go,
pretty good at.
That is not how we say that here.
Yeah.
We don't state it in the negative. Or you don't say you can do this not like that. Or I forget how he phrases things, but I've got to stop and go, he's Italian.
It's counterintuitive.
Writing English, that's not what he means. It's so there's some of that in the rules. But I tell you what, once you get into the gameplay, the rhythm, because I've now done, it starts in April, May, June, July. I'm on my 4th or 5th month of the full campaign, Alexander thing. And once you get the supply rules down, you can look at the map and go, oh, that supply area supports 5. It has 5 supply factors, right? This column of units, this army only has 3. And if I've got a light cavalry with me, I know that I'm not going to get any negatives for my die roll, right? So I'm not going to have any of those 5 subtracted. And I only need 3. So you don't even really need to roll the dice, because if you get extra, who gives a shit? Unless it's opposed, unless your enemy is.
That as a depot, though?
Who, what?
Can't you make a supply depot with the extras?
You can, but you don't want to. I mean, if you're Alexander, you're hauling ass, right? So you want to make supply depots once you get through basically Turkey, is what I'm guessing. I'm thinking. I don't know, because I haven't got far enough, right? But you split your armies up into groups of basically 30 stacking points, and that means you need 3 supply, and that gets you through Turkey pretty much all the way. And then along the way, you're going to siege places and capture a supply point and all that sort of nonsense. You can't reach back and get supply, so you're really foraging the whole time. And the only time it matters to roll the dice is if you're opposed, to see who loses a step of light cavalry, because you've got light cavalry screeners and you've got light cavalry raiders, right? So that whole concept of actually making ancient warfare movement sort of feel real, like, that now my light cavalry is doing its job. They're going out, finding food, fending off the bad guys. The bad guys are trying to raid you, stop you from getting food. You can scorched earth shit at come June, July.
But I like how that affects like your friendly territory. Yeah,
right.
But
so it's super cool.
Your people are going to be pissed because you're burning their shit. And look, people, y'all that are watching this or you're watching it afterwards, don't get me and Kev wrong here. We're not hating on the game. I mean, there's some things that we'd like to see change. I've always said that like Thin Red Line games, like they craft their games. You're getting an individualized experience here. This isn't like your Walmart of board games, right? This isn't a game system that has 10 games in the iteration and they all feel roughly the same, but they're set in different areas. You're really getting that crafted experience here, but with that, you're going to have some crap like this pop up where you're like, damn it, I wish they would have colored the counters a little different, or minor stuff. It's my time with it thus far. I would absolutely say it's worth it if you were into this era of gameplay and warfare. Now, I haven't done any of the tactical stuff. Have you poked around at that?
Yeah. So
you posted about it the other day.
Yeah, so me and Fabrizio kind of got into it offline because it feels almost exactly like Great Battles of History, right? So I got my Great Battles of History hat on and I'm moving my stuff and doing things. And I sent him a picture and I said, so who goes first to resolve this? And he goes, what the F are you doing? Like, well, I'm playing the rules. And he goes,
playing your game.
Have you read the rules? And I went, motherfucker, you know, I got all pissed off and everything. And then I went back
Details,
and reread.
schmeetails.
Yeah, that's all I gotta say. It's not like it's like Great Battles of History version 1 or 2 of SBQR, right? So you move everything, fire your arrows, declare your melee, resolve the melee, and then you're done. That's an activation, you're done. Then you move to the next guy. Whereas with Great Battles of History, you move everybody, you shoot everybody, and then you fight everybody. So it's simultaneous all at once. And it's not like that. And actually, once you play the battle out, it's pretty cool. It actually works a lot smoother and a lot cleaner and a lot less markers than Great Battles of History. I'm keen to actually grab some battles, some Alexandrian battles, right, from Great Battles of History, and set one of their battles up, an equivalent battle up, and play it out and see what happens, right? So yes, I have played it, and yes, it plays very, very well. And I would always, if I'm going to do a big battle, I would always do the tactical map, because you're going to get much, much better losses. Because I played a battle, and I also played it the operational way, where you just do 5 rounds of combat, or it's not 5, but you fight until someone runs away, which ends up being about 5, because I did it a couple of times. And you don't want to do that, because you end up losing units you might not normally have lost. If you actually run the battle yourself, you've got a little bit more control over what goes on.
Yeah, due to the route level.
The route level stuff, and then in the operational game, when you resolve, you get a black and a red result. If it's a red result, the enemy gets to choose what you lose. So, you know, if you're Alexander and you receive a 2 red result, I'm the Persians, I'm gonna pick your heavy cavalry, right? Every time. So you lose a step, and they're gone. They're 1 step. So you can screw, if you get lucky, you could screw Alexander and you're done, right? You might as well. I'm not saying you should restart, but you know, you've got to go buy that cavalry again. You don't have money, hardly any money. So,
but you can gain money through the taxation, and there's something else. Was it pillaging or
plunder or something?
Plunder, dude. It's once a year, right?
Yeah.
So you've got to run the table early and capture as many provinces, and then collect your taxes in January and hope that's enough to fund. And at the end of the year, you've also got to pay maintenance. Everything you bought, all your armies, you got to pay tax on all those motherfuckers. Oh, excuse me, on all those guys. You know, so I like the Persians in my game. They've said, you know what? I think we're done for the year, and it's July, right? They're like, we're not moving anything, we're not doing anything, we're not buying anything, because they're out of money. They're almost out of money. And they're the Persians, because they've been blowing through trying to bribe people and building armies and doing things. And I was looking at it, it's going, I'm not sure I have enough money left at the end of the year to pay the maintenance on all these units. And the good thing is Alexander killed 2 armies, so there'll be less to pay for. But anyway,
that's what I like about the game. That's that feeling, is that you're having to make choices more along the lines of what they would do then. They're not going to fight to the last man. There does come a point where you're overextended. You don't have the money to upkeep. You don't have the food to upkeep. And you have to just kind of gear down, especially during the winter months, because the winter months are nothing but negative modifiers for trying to do anything.
Right. Trying to forage and all that's terrible.
Yeah.
And battles and
I think they've done a really good job with the game, with everything I've experienced. I'm really looking forward to getting a little more time with it. It just was one thing after another was in front of it, so I finally got a chance to sit down with it. It is a table hog, though. Like, all 4 maps are huge.
Well, if you're gonna, how often are you gonna play the full campaign?
Oh, well, I mean, go big or go home, dude. I mean, it's really there.
Well, I mean, you don't have to. You can play 1 or 2 map. You don't have to play all 4.
Yeah, there's a couple of smaller ones.
Yeah.
And what I like about this is the way they've got the other scenario set up. It almost works for someone like me who might have different size tables because they've got a 2 map that's horizontal and then they've got a 2 map that's vertical. Right. So you
guys throwing around your table privilege. Guys like me who have more than one table, as you guys have your multiple tables, I'm stuck with my 4x6, and that's it until I retire and get into my retirement war room.
I got it. Just an L
behind the couch over there.
Yeah, behind the couch, tucked away.
And the piano.
I never have enough table space as it is. I wish I had more.
Yeah.
I like Kevin's set up, all that empty room. If that was my room, it would be nothing but tables as far as I can.
Dude, I'm getting a couple more tables. Those wooden ones on the left with the little hand crank. So I've got 2 metal 4x4 tables on big trundle wheels. I don't know if you can see them. Those big wheels there. So I can mix and match those. Like I just moved the table down the other end of the room because I was putting some furniture together, and it was awesome. And then I've got those. That's a 6x2 table, the wooden thing, that guy right there. So I just crank it up to the same level as the metal stuff, and I'm gonna get, I think, 2 more of those guys. And then
you're gonna get a sheet of plywood too, so that way you can just put 1 sheet over all of them if you put them together for a giant game.
Yeah, I could, but then I gotta store it somewhere, and that's where
Let's put it up against the wall or something, right? You don't have
a premium. Yeah, but then the missus gets like, wait, where's you gonna put the plywood away?
Why don't you go count your shoes?
Right. What I am going to do is put some plywood on the base of these tables, so I can stack books and excess games and stuff.
Yeah, all your supplies, your tweezers and dice and everything. Yeah,
right, exactly. It's just so it's just a work in progress. It's fun. Well, that's cool. So anyway, so we went deep dive on the Fate of All, but you sort of did unboxing and shuffle units around, read the rules and everything, and so you're gonna jump into some sort of scenario at some point.
I'm just gonna do scenario map A. Right.
So the Greeks or whatever it is, the Greek peninsula thing.
Who am I setting up?
I'm trying to think what that one is.
Yeah, the scenario 1, the 10,000 again, and it's got the Persians versus the Macedonians. And enough troops on there, and a good chunk of the additional rules, but not all of them. So the additional rules always seem to be things that I'll forget. But I like the goal of this one because it's victory conditions, capture cities. So I know, boom, boom, boom. I'm heading for these areas, trying to get them. So I've got one side that's trying to capture, other side that's trying to block them off, and that just worked for my space. I wish I had the ability and time to do a bigger one, because I think that would be an awesome thing to set up, especially the entire campaign. I just don't have the time or space to set it all up. Someone does, though. Someone should.
Convention would be the thing. I want to go back a minute here.
Would be awesome. Yeah.
But when you were saying you were getting all fancy, and Brian was saying a Marine saying garish, apparently that got a couple people going here, because Christoph said, I have Google Translate on, never heard of garish before. So he's throwing around the big words apparently for some people. And, being that Brian wants to be the grammar police saying garish, it's like, well, you know what? Marine is capitalized. It's a proper noun. So make sure you remember that next time.
Better than using, I'm trying to keep it PG. Remember, we have a 4-letter word we use for everything.
True.
Well, I mean, you remember during your time in, that little 4-letter word could be used literally for any other word in the English language. We proved its versatility.
Oh yeah. I mean, you can say fucker if you want. We were leading the crew here with years ago with gender neutral phrases. We just called everybody fucker.
Exactly.
I'm ready to go with it.
Yes.
I will point out I'm going to be doing something else that's digital. I actually just got a code from this. I don't know if you guys have heard of this game before. It's by Slytherin. They do the Field of Glory series.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they got Field of Glory, 2 medieval, forget the others, some Civil War ones, and they've got one coming out called Field of Glory Kingdoms, which is really reminding me of the Fate of All. And it's like they have taken a board game and turned it into a digital game, but it was never a board game. It plays like a board game version of what's that? Europa Universalis. You know,
Oh yeah.
It's grand strategy. You're trying to take control of, ancient, year 1000 Europe. It's Spain, Britain, Germany, top of Africa, the whole area. But I was poking around at that the other night, and it's interesting so far. I'm gonna have to spend a little more time with it to say one way or the other whether or not I actually am really digging into it. Their tutorial didn't hit all the points that it should have, like constructing units. That would be something you would think would be in the tutorial teaching you how to play, and it's like, no, not even in there. They went deep into the diplomacy and trying to get religion or things like that, and it talked about how buildings affect the different provinces. That's great, but you didn't tell me how to build the buildings. So it almost seems like they tried to speed run through the tutorial series. I've recorded that. I'll have that up here in a couple of days, and then I'm going to play through their little scenario. If you're into grand strategy, the Europa Universalis, the Fate of All type games, this might be something. Right? It's more like a streamlined version of that. You do have the ability to export your games into the tactical level of their game. The Field of Glory medieval. So if you're playing a battle in the grand game, evidently you can export your battle into a different game, go play it out, and then come back to the original game to see the results. I'm not sure exactly how well that would work. Supposedly they've done it. Yeah, he's talking about.
Yeah, it sounds like Rome Total War or medieval Total War. Same idea.
It's one. Much more streamlined. It is nowhere near as deep. It's like just the highlights of all that. So if you wanted something that played faster with less to worry about, you're pretty much just worrying about religion, who your leader is, and what your forces are and how much money you have. The battles aren't overly complex. It's very basic. You have a front line. Certain units like spearmen are going to go in the front line. You'll have archers in support. You'll have cavalry on the flanks. That basic stuff. And if you don't have units to fill those areas, then you're going to have negative penalties, right, during the battle. But it's all very streamlined. So if you've wanted to try a game like Europa or something along those lines, but it's been too deep for you, this might be one worth checking out. I can't say I haven't had a full huge amount of time with the game yet. So far, it seems pretty decent, but I'm going to have to poke at it a little more before I can say one way or the other. But stay tuned for that. I'll have it up in the next couple of weeks.
That's pretty cool. That's very cool.
Very nice. Now, Tony said something here before. He's going to be on the War Room.
Boo hiss.
I'm going to be on War Room this Saturday on Ruff's channel. I had heard that. Are you replacing someone on that show this weekend, or
he's going to take and cut out that little segment of me saying "boo hiss" and put it on there?
Boo hiss.
I thought it was on what's his name's channel?
Jester.
Yeah.
Jester. I said Jester. Yeah.
I feel bad saying this, but it's Jester, it's Ruff, and one other guy, and I, for the life of me, can't remember the other guy's name.
So you're filling in for Jester, is what I'm guessing. He's taking a hiatus or a day off. But
it's tough doing a weekly show.
Yeah. Weekly is, that's a lot. It really does eat up because if you have every Saturday or any day that you set, it's tough to do that week in and week out.
Time. That's game time too. Like when you're going to play, right? Especially don't they do 3 hours or 2.5 hours or something like that?
Yeah, they do 2+ usually, like 2 hours, I think.
One show.
Wait, they do a show every Saturday?
Yeah.
Oh, Jester's at Buckeye Game Fest.
That's too much.
So what that means is everybody go to Ruff's channel on Saturday and give them the largest crowd they've ever had.
That's so mean. Why would you do that to Jester?
I'm just busting. So I'm sure he'll flip out on me. But the new guy's Nate. That name sounds familiar.
No, they can't have a Nate. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, but he's not gimpy like our Nate is.
He's not armed like our Nate is either.
Oh, geez.
There can only be one. Highlander rules. That's how we're going with this.
There you go. So,
hold on. Before I forget to say it, I saw a comment from Ed earlier, and I meant to respond to him. The game that you were talking about, the 2 minutes to midnight, it is a deeper version of
it's Wargamer's version of Twilight Struggle.
Twilight Struggle, that's it. Yeah, it's big boy version. It's daddy version. Really good components. Got a solitaire system. Looks good. You can drop nukes, all good stuff.
Yep.
Well, what I think is good about it, like with Twilight Struggle, it's everything about it is very abstract. It's meant to be played faster and stuff, and everything's off the cards. With this, the things you can do with a single card play, you have to build to in increments to do them, which I think is kind of neat because you have to think ahead and you have to work towards it. You just don't go, hey, I've got a card, I'm going to do this, boom, which is one of the things that people love about card games, and also could be a detractor to it if you wanted to have something more. But it does allow things to be quicker.
Thing is, it abstract equals Euro.
It is. I mean, it's pretty much an area control strategy game,
or
I know. Euro.
Yeah, I just love it. It's great. It's a war-themed Euro.
Historical board game, in other words.
Yeah, historical board game.
So, watch it, man. You're gonna set everybody off.
Oh, sorry. Stop it already. Well, I'm playing games too.
That's what I was waiting to hear. Oh, boy.
So conflict simulation. There we go.
Checkers is a conflict simulation.
Yeah. What was
it? Hey, sexy Hexy.
Oh, Jeff's here. Look at that. Let's see. So I finished my first play of Old School Tactical's Pacific module, that little expansion called Hellbent. Played the Wake Island scenario. Not good for the Yanks. They got their asses handed to them. The Marines were not up to the task, so that was sad. But gorgeous. Wow, I'd forgotten just how nice. Golly, you guys are jumping on the bandwagon. I've forgotten just how nice the components are for Flying Pig games, and it really, we're all talking about how great the two European companies are that are bringing out new titles and doing new things and all the rest of it. And I really think that Flying Pig was probably one of the very first to kick it up a notch with the mounted maps and larger counters and better quality production. Although they've had some snafus with bits and pieces, but generally speaking, I think they've done a really, really good job. So we shouldn't discount all the Americans necessarily. I think the U.S. companies have been handed notice, though, right? That the quality game needs to improve, and the price factor on the ILAO game that I picked up.
Yeah,
this is a crazy good price for what you get in the box. It's ridiculous. But anyway, so finished.
What's that? Decent. I mean, Lock and Load, the Bitter Harvest. I mean, the amount of stuff that you get in that box is definitely worth the price.
Yes. But I think a lot of it's extraneous, though, right? So there was many rules in there, and the solitaire rules were in. There was a whole rule booklet, and there's a lot of extra stuff. Jeff, why aren't I in St. Louis? Because I couldn't, because I'm still banned on BGG. I couldn't.
Doesn't want to get shot.
Yeah, well, that too. I couldn't really bring my gun, but I couldn't respond to any of the
swanky stuff.
No, to get a game booked, right? Because everyone was booking games on. He's like, oh, I'll play this, I'll play that. Well, I couldn't. All I could do was like things, and I had to PM somebody. So I never got a game set up, and I was eager to go. I actually booked my room, paid my fee, but had to cancel. I couldn't get a game locked in, so I'm not going to go up there and sit around and twiddle my thumbs. So, and it ends up being here was better because of moving in and other factors. So, yeah. So I was going to say, so OST, yeah, played that. I just set up back on one of those tables back there in a corner. I've got Battles in the East Volume 2 set up for the Guderian's last Blitzkrieg battle, the battle for Tula in 41. I've got that set up, so I'm about to start that as soon as we finish up here tonight. I just set that up this afternoon. And obviously got Fate of All going, and I've got North Africa 41. I'm on turn 14 online with my buddy Steve. With that, I'm feeling pretty punchy, pretty confident as the allies that it'll all be over in a couple of turns. He just doesn't realize it yet, so that's always fun to have your opponent not know it's over. So there was that. I'm doing. I don't know if anybody knows, but with this Substack thing, I've been playing 3 RPGs, Walking Dead and Twilight 2000, which are from Free League, which are really, I think they're both from Free League. Yeah, and then also a game called War Stories, which I think is from Firelock Games, and they're all the Year Zero engine. And man, it's fun. I set up a couple of scenarios and I'm just running through it and writing notes and stuff, and then using that to write some narrative and post it on my Substack. So if you're into a 2,000 word brief description of a battle, check it out.
Nice.
Yeah, it's fun.
That's cool. And how was The Walking Dead been? I was surprised that you got that, because I was like, I didn't think you were a zombie guy.
I'm not really a zombie guy, but I don't know whether I got some email from him saying, hey, if you want to get on the site and pick a game, we'll send you the core book. And it was the only one that really didn't have like 50 expansions that I would get sucked into.
Yeah.
So I grabbed it, and it's the simplest and most flexible of all the games, because I think it's really aimed at the audience, right? At the viewer audience. There's not that super detailed tactical stuff like in Twilight 2000, or even War Stories gets a little out of hand. So it's ranged fire and melee, and you roll a handful of dice and see what happens, right? So it's all pretty straightforward. And
it's easy to play that solo?
I'm just writing stories about it, so whatever happens, happens. I don't care. The guy dies, he dies. I get it. Just make another character, right?
Yeah. I mean, are you playing it as a solitary character, or solo character? You have an NPCs too?
Solo character, a couple of NPCs on the side. I've really just done one. This one character, Cade, ran an ambush to capture some supplies. He has some mental issues. His little sister and his family all seem to be resident in his head. So something bad must have happened there. So we're having fun with that sort of thematic nonsense. So he's going a little crazy in his head while he's taking out thugs and stealing trucks. Yeah.
Well, at least he's not keeping heads in aquariums.
Not yet. No.
Because did you watch the Walking Dead series?
I watched like one episode. I didn't really like it.
Oh, you never watched? Okay. Because I got up to when Negan showed up, and I forget where I left off. It started getting, like after Rick left, it kind of, I was like, but it was just the thing that annoyed me and really kind of turned me off of the show, where I think they jumped the shark for me, was when they had the big lead up, and everybody who's read the books, the graphic novels, knows where I'm going with this. The big reveal of Negan, which leads to Glenn's death.
He's gay?
No. This Negan character that they've been hearing about, he finally reveals himself.
I've seen all the shorts on YouTube, but I haven't kept the show.
Yeah, and he kills Glenn in a very graphic way in the book, and it's very
Glenn's the Asian fellow, right?
yes,
Yeah,
and they did a very good job of doing it in the series, except they screwed up because they had this build up for the season finale, and then Negan, he ends up breaking out Lucille, which is his barbed wire covered bat, and he goes and he swings and he beats the cameraman to death, and you don't know who he kills until they come back. And the season premiere of the next year is when they show you the whole thing in more detail, and then you see the killing, which is actually 2 killings, and it was very graphic, which I was fine with because it fit the story. But I was annoyed that I was like, you had this build up and then you lost the momentum. You totally jumped the shark at that point, because it would have been the perfect finale. It would have been the most talked about season finale, I think, in TV history.
You mean series?
Season finale, not series finale, season finale. It would have been one of the most, if not the most talked about season finale in TV history, if they had done everything that they did in the premiere, if they showed that part with the killing in the finale, because that's what they were building to all season. And then the last episode, they had this stupid drawn out thing where they were whistling all the time, and it was kind of building an eerie sense of dread, which was good, but they took it too far and they didn't give a payoff. And when they did that, I was like, hey, I'm going to stick around because I love Jeffrey Dean Morgan and I love the Negan character. But even that started wearing thin for me after a while. The writing was, let's see how much blood we can squeeze out of this stone.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I heard the first 2 seasons were good, and then after that it all went downhill. It started repeating themes and repeating stories, and
there's some really great storylines in it, and there's some very like, holy crap, what just happened scenes. You know, I mean, there's a lot of excellent scenes in it, but that last season, you know, when with the Negan thing, they actually did a fake death on Glenn early in their season that pissed a lot of people off. And then when they did the finale of that season, I was just like, you're really trying my patience. And I'm generally a patient guy, especially if you stick to the source in a lot of ways, and they did in many ways. But I don't know. I just lost interest in it. It went on for like 10 seasons. They had a couple spinoffs and stuff, but I just was like, yeah, I'm done. You wore out your welcome with me.
Well, before I forget to mention it, if you like games like that, if you're into sci-fi, Kev, 5 parsecs from home, similar to the Twilight 2000 that you were talking about.
Oh, cool.
Same with another zombie one, Last Days Zombie Apocalypse.
Oh, nice.
So if you like the, Walking Dead, that's another one worth checking out.
Well, that's cool, dude. I'll check them out. That's awesome.
Are those miniature based or?
Yeah, they can be. Especially, actually, both of these are miniature based. Now that I think about it, you can use minis from anything. They don't have anything that's like directly tied to them.
But I mean, like you're counting out inches and stuff, or is it just like an RPG where you're using a grid or whatever to move?
No, this would be, now that I think about it, this might not be Kevin's cup of thing, because you are like actually going to play the battle out.
Okay.
You're not just going to roll dice. I mean, you roll dice, but you move and shoot and lines of sight and all that other stuff. I've got the minis to have all this stuff, terrain. See, 5 parsecs is real good. I've actually got a storyline I'm planning when I finally get some time, that I'm going to take all my robot characters from Core Space and I'm going to create their own little story using 5 parsecs and have just a purely robot crew going out and just doing whatever missions pop up. Plus, that way, if one of them dies, if I don't want them to die, they're a robot. You can just pull a memory chip. Just keep going.
I love it.
Well, you don't even have to pull a memory chip. Just, upload to the cloud.
No, we're not. We're going Star Wars rules, probably.
Oh, okay. So you're gonna have to recover the data from the droid.
Yeah. Otherwise, that takes the gamey aspects out of it. You got to recover something. Take that. Something along those lines.
Speaking of robots and stuff, what I really want to see is somebody come out with a really good version of Galaxy's Edge rules.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Galaxy's Edge.
With Savage Marines.
Yeah, they pulled some BS thing. They put something together and they got that RPG thing, but it's not good.
Yeah.
Actually, no, that's Forgotten Ruin, isn't it? I can't remember.
Is it Forgotten Ruin? I thought it was GE that they did like kind of weaker, simple miniatures rules that they used. Like they kind of took another system and kind of worked it into this, which you can do. But I would love to see a GE board war game. Like a real war game on
Edge, and I just keep thinking of that lame ass hotel from Disney.
No, this is Galaxy's Edge, which Kev introduced me to. It's Star Wars for adults. It really is.
Yeah,
it's a phenomenal. I'm almost done with season 2 now, so it's
awesome.
It's fantastic.
So it is Star Wars. It's just got like naked Twi'leks in it or something.
It's
twirly.
It's like a Star Wars environment, but you're also dealing with a lot of dirty politics, a lot of dirty people, and then you have the good people as well that are fighting, and then there's a Force equivalent component in it too.
There's like one kind of Jedi guy. That's it.
Yeah,
he's more like a Sith Lord than anything.
Well, there's more than one. Well, there's the one
the
that he don't last as long as I thought he would.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, dude.
Yeah. I just loved it at the end when Cal, I think it was Cal, or no, it wasn't Cal. Maybe it was Cal. I can't remember who it was. But just
No, it was that was what's his face? Keel. Yeah.
Keel. That's right.
Yeah. And because when you think about it, in 2 of the most iconic characters in that, it just happens so fast, and you're like, whoa. That's not supposed to happen. No, go back and do that again. Make a 10-page, finale here.
The good thing is that there's a lot of backstory stuff coming out for one of the other characters, which is awesome because he's just such a badass.
Which one?
Tyrus.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they're gonna they have to keep on going.
So epic. He's just classic. Anyway, we're drifting off into stuff that no one knows about because it's a small audience.
Yes. But you gotta, if you are looking for a great sci-fi series, check out Galaxy's Edge. You will not be disappointed.
Yeah, you will.
Is that a book series or?
Yes.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I have
listened to them on Audible.
Because I'd never heard of that. The only Galaxy's Edge I'd heard about was that lame ass hotel that bombed.
Right. They're moving it all over to something called Wargate Operator. Yeah, Wargate, Wargate.com or Wargate Operator.
Yeah.
I think they're getting pressured from Star Wars franchise to drop the name. So I'm not sure how they'll do that, but
screw those guys.
Yeah.
That's the ridiculous stuff, is that people who have some of this third party items that generate a whole lot of interest, all they are doing is selling your products for you, and they're not charging you for all the free advertising you're getting. Now, yes, in some cases they might make a little bit of money, but the amount of return that they're going to get you is going to far outweigh whatever that they're making. I don't think they're helping Star Wars. If anything, they're making people going, this is what Star Wars could have been.
Yeah.
If Disney didn't royally screw it up.
Yeah, it's like having Rangers and Navy SEALs in Star Wars uniforms, kicking ass and taking names. It is fundamentally epic and really good, detailed tactical stuff, and then a great storyline, a great character development. The first book is probably one of the weakest books, but I think 2, 3, and 4 kind of really kick up a notch from there. It's good.
Yeah, I mean, it starts off the first one. It's just a standard battle book, and then it builds up for there, which is it's fine, but it's a good intro to the series.
Yeah, and it was very clearly Afghanistan, right? The corollaries.
Let them publish that shit. It's like when Games Workshop with Warhammer came out and put everything behind a paywall. That's what really pissed people off, is that they took all these YouTubers or people who had written stories or lore or all this other crap and said they had to take down everything that they'd worked on for years. Like GW never cared for years when they were generating all this interest in their product. And then suddenly they decided, no, you can only do it if you do it behind our paywall so we can make money off of your work. And some people they brought on and hired and actually paid them a little something, but the majority just had all their work stolen and taken from them. And the fans hated it. right? They lost all the goodwill that.
But the fans continue to buy their product and support them for doing this.
Not now, not anymore.
Really?
Yeah. Remember, I was mentioning that to you earlier.
Yeah, but I mean, Games Workshop is not hurting in any way, shape, or form.
No, they're not.
There's some controversy, but I mean, people are not saying, "Hey, you just screwed a bunch of content creators over, and you're killing all the content. You're moving everything behind a paywall. Screw you. We're not going to support you anymore." Being that you went with a heavy-handed thing, you know,
they lost some stock points during that period of time, but they bounced back, and now they're going through the cancellations because everyone, all the people who had Warhammer Plus accounts started canceling them over the whole Henry Cavill thing that I mentioned to you earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So now their subscription model has plummeted, so they're losing a lot of fans over that. I hope that it hurts them bad enough that they change their stance, but I doubt it will.
Well, that's the thing. It's all up to the consumer. The consumer has to remember, you hold the wallet. You have the power of the wallet, and it doesn't matter who the company is. If they want to screw with your IP or your game or whatever it is that you like, and you know you're not happy with it, well, just withhold your dollars and go someplace else.
But how far are we away from having that really hit the Wargame hobby? I can't be the only one. I have had videos that have gotten flagged simply for the name of the game alone, right? What Hitler's Reich or some bullshit like that. Like it's the name of a board game, right? And they'll demonetize it right off the bat. And I have to go and put in an appeal to get them to look at it.
Yeah.
Take the strike.
Well,
off.
They'll blame the AI because AI is the crutch of everybody nowadays, or the algorithm, because I'll set it to look for certain things, and they set it for certain things that are against, you know, their viewpoints, but then they ignore others. And it's like, you know what, just leave things the way they are and let the viewers sort out what they want to see, just as long as it's not something illegal. You know, I mean, you don't want to have a snuff film on there, but you don't want to have, you know, blocking out things that are a historical documentary on Hitler or Stalin or Pol Pot or whoever, because those things need to be out there for people to get educated.
Yeah. They're so worried about curating what's on their platform. And that's my biggest gripe with them. It's like, look, you can either have a platform or you can be a publisher. But if you're going to curate the content that is on, and it doesn't matter if it's YouTube or Twitter or whatever it is, the moment you start curating, you are no longer a platform. You're no longer an open platform. You are now a publisher, and you fall under different legal rules, which means you can be held for things like liable, right? That's the biggest reason they want to be considered an open platform. Well, if you're an open platform, it has to be open to everyone. So anybody can post anything they want, even if you disagree with it, as long as it's not, child.
That ain't the case anymore.
Come on, they're protecting feelings. There are a lot of sensitive people out there who have been physically harmed, no less, physically harmed by words. So I think that you're just being a little judgmental, and you need to calm down.
Amazon wanted female Space Marines in Cavill's Eyes and Orange series. GW refused. They compromised with female custodes. Cavill's threatened to walk off the whole series. He should. I mean, they did the same thing with Witcher, and now they're doing it. It's like, stop letting political ideologies or narratives or whatever get into the IP of a story. These are established stories. When you screw with established stories, you're going to piss off the fan base. You piss off the fan base, you have invested a ton of money, and it's going to blow up in your face because people are not going to watch your stuff.
Lord of the Rings. What I was trying to get you to understand earlier, like this is decades old lore. This is not stuff that is recent models or recent books or anything like that. This is stuff that
it doesn't matter even if it is set, right? I mean, if you just respect the series, and if you're going to do something different, if you're going to change things, then say, hey, it's not really whatever this series, what's it called? What's the series called? Warhammer. It's not really Warhammer, but it's something else. But it's just like Warhammer, but we're doing our own thing instead of trying to sucker all the
Warable bean.
Yeah, instead of trying to sucker everybody into, it's Warhammer, but we're making it inclusive.
Yeah. And they already have a really cool thing that you were explaining before with female characters, which would be just as compelling.
That's what I told you. The problem is that Cavill was going to be playing a character named Eisenhorn. He's a famous character in the series. I've read his book. I've actually got it sitting right over there. And their issue, Amazon's issue, is they wanted a female character that was more powerful than Cavill's character. But Cavill's character, Eisenhorn, is a famous space marine, which means he's very powerful. And the only ones who could realistically in that series be more powerful would be a Custode. And the Custodes are the Emperor's chosen, but they're only men. So that's when they just nope, there were women. There's always been women. We're just retconning it and saying that because Amazon wanted to have a chick.
Amazon should have learned from Lord of the Rings. Stop screwing with the original stuff. Leave it.
Just to show you how arrogant they are, right?
Yes. It's like you invest a pretty sum into getting the rights to these things and you want to make money on it. You know what? Invest the money and then just use the existing lore. Yeah, of course, there's going to be some alterations for time or whatever, but people will be fine with that. Just use the existing lore and print money. It's like Star Wars. You had all that stuff right there. Use the existing lore and print money. I guess people don't like money. I'm
remembering this wrong, Ed. Eisenhorn, I remember the trilogy. I read it. Maybe I might be remembering it wrong. The character Henry Cavill was going to play, I could have swore it wasn't an Inquisitor. I thought Eisenhorn was a Space Marine. He's the one where they first had the battle over Isthorn or whatever, where Horus goes bad and then he survives, and then he tries to make it back to the Imperium and is on Mars. He's trying to let them know what's going on, and he's a Space Marine, right? Oh, I'm not thinking of Gaunt. His name is Nathaniel Eisenhorn, right? I could have swore that's his name, and that's when they encounter the warp for the first time. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to get this all distracted, but
no, that's good.
Oh, you'll
have to reread the series.
You have to retcon this show at this point.
Because they're saying more than one person saying he's an Inquisitor, not an Astartes. Inquisitors are different. They, long story short, they help fight the chaos.
You get us off on this tangent, and you're not even getting it right. Damn it!
I know. No, I'm not thinking of Gaunt. I love Gaunt's though. Gaunt's Ghost, the founding and the whole thing. Man, they're awesome. Love
Who
that.
is Gaunt's Ghost?
Gaunt is the first, the Tanith, first and only.
I was making a joke like, who is John Galt? Who is Gaunt's Ghost?
Right. Yeah.
Normally they'll take and raid a planet for millions upon millions of soldiers, but this planet got attacked, and they only got out with one regiment or detachment, whatever it was. So there's only one group of these guys survived. Their home planet got destroyed. So
how come they don't have a war game for this and don't even go into the Warhammer model thing? That's just a bucket of dice, system. I'm talking about a war game. Sounds like they've got a lot of lore. How come they don't have a board war game for this?
They do.
What board war game do they have?
Was made by Devil Pig Games.
Oh, that's probably why I never heard of it, because they screwed up, didn't they? That's the one that blew themselves up.
It's based on their Heroes of Normandy series.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
So there's the cartoony look, the way everything looks. They've got a war game, same way, counters.
Yeah, they got the Space Hulk solitaire game. I knew that, but I mean, I'm talking like a board war game. Like the one thing I always wanted to see from BattleTech was to do something like that. The closest they got to that was the Succession Wars board game. That was like a grand strategic, it was grand strategic because you're dealing with the inner sphere, but I would have liked to have seen something more operational and even tactical using counters, not just miniatures.
This uses counters. It's Heroes of something. I can't remember. Heroes of Battle Reach or something along those lines. It's Devil Pig made the game. There's the game and then a handful of expansions for it. It did well. Personally, I thought it should have done better with the IP that it was on.
Yeah. I mean, because that may actually draw in wargamers to check it out. And then the wargamers, if they like the game, would be drawn into reading the books and possibly even playing the miniatures game if they wanted to.
Well, as you can tell, I've read the books, although I feel bad now that I realize effed up Eisenhorn pretty bad because that's a famous character. I should not be messing up Eisenhorn, so I'm gonna have to go reread that one. I'm gonna call that off to a brain injury.
He had a zombie series.
Don't know
I
that.
didn't know he did.
Well, did he? Maybe.
Who is Nick Cole?
He's the
Galaxy's
author, or
Edge.
one of the authors of Galaxy's Edge and Strange Company. Strange Company is another great book he wrote. And he wrote, well, he's got a bunch of stuff, but yeah, he did do a zombie.
Those guys are
book,
machines.
Yeah.
Him and Jason
That's
Osbach.
pretty interesting. Yeah.
The Dark Knight? Is that it?
No.
The Dork.
Zombie Survival Infection? No, that's James S. Cole. Yeah, The Dark Knight. That's what's
Heroes of the Black Reach.
Yeah, Heroes of Black Reach. That's it. Yeah, that is a war game. It's actual counters, lines of sight, the whole nine, which you would expect from a traditional war game. Square grid instead of
yeah. I'm looking at it now. It's like,
it's just like Heroes of Normandy. If you play,
I never played Heroes of Normandy.
So I sent Nick Cole. I DM'd him on Twitter and sent him a link to The Long Road.
Nice.
And showed him that. And then I had written a little, short, you know how I wrote those little stories I was telling you about earlier? So I wrote a story about the game we played, actually.
Nice.
And I shared that with him. And he goes, dude, A, that was epic. And B, why the fuck don't I own this game? And then he shared it with all his buddies. And so hopefully they bought it.
What we should do is we should invite him on for our Friday night fights and we should play that game
so cool.
with him. That would be cool as hell.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Whiskey and War Games with Nick Cole.
Nick Cole. Oh, because he plays every Friday night. They play some
they're on Twitch or something.
RPG thing on Twitch or something.
Yeah.
I think
we'll have to see if we can snag him into a game. That'd be fun.
Yeah, maybe I can reach out to him and try. We'll see. Anyway.
Yeah.
And
cool.
Ed, I actually I've got a review up on that, the Battle Sector. I just reviewed their newest expansion, the Tau expansion.
Nice.
Which it's good. They need longer range because the Tau are known for having long range, high powered weaponry, and they did not include the cruise for whatever reason. The Tau have like mechanized battle suits. They're these little weak-bodied creatures, but they advance scientifically very rapidly. So they have high-powered battle suits. They're like Japanese space ninja bullshit. And
another reason why you need to read Galaxy's Edge and the Legionnaires.
Oh God,
it sounds like something I would be interested.
Oh, you would totally dig it.
You would eat it up, bro.
Yeah. I mean, the two best characters. Well, I can't even say this two best because there's so many great characters in that. But you got Rex and you got Wraith, and then of course you have Masters.
Yeah,
everybody loves Masters.
Yeah. And Caltona.
Yeah, although I'm not even going to say anything about Masters right now.
But what I don't get is you're saying that they've released these series, but they did it without or whoever's approval at the time, Disney or whoever.
It's not Star Wars.
It's not affiliated with Star Wars.
It's look at the
Star
dumbass.
Wars adjacent.
No, it's exactly Star Wars.
Right? Yeah, it's the same story.
Same story. The guys in the white uniforms got really crappy armor and all the rest of it, except they're warriors and they kick ass, right? So, and the only reason they have bad armor is because they were given it by the government to reduce the quality of the army, because they treat the army like it's porn to go subdue economically and violently planets to do their bidding, right? So anyway, there's this whole, it's a long, complicated story, and then it goes off in branches, and like I said, there's 32 books or something if you read it.
Yeah, there's a bunch.
What's it called again? The
Galaxy's Edge.
Galaxy's Edge. All right. I have to.
Galaxy'sEdge.us. I think.
No, Flying Pig is actually a very good, great war game publisher. Devil Pig is Dead or in receivership. Kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
Stakely's Armor is another good one, but this is actual. Yes, and they do have audiobooks. That's how I consume them, is through audiobooks instead of just reading, because I'm generally reading other stuff, and then I listen to these on my commute, and it's just the narration in it is fantastic. RC Bray does the narration, and he really does. You get drawn into the story by you can tell who's talking when he gives different characters their own voice, and I think that's really cool. So it's well worth it whether you read or you listen.
It wouldn't let me post the link.
Time out. Let me say this so Christopher doesn't mess this up. No, Devil Pig is not Flying Pig. I understand that can get confusing, but Flying Pig Games is different from Devil Pig. Flying Pig did The Long Road and the old school tactical game series. Devil Pig is known for the Heroes of Normandy series primarily. They're the ones that just went down in a ball of flames because their previous owner screwed everybody and ran a false Kickstarter to steal a bunch of people's money. They are trying to come back, and I actually talked to one of the former owners of Devil Pig, and I gave him an open invitation. Like, we were going back and forth because, you know, I was upset about the situation, and he was, rightfully so. And I told him, like, look, platform's open. If you ever want to come on and just say your piece, what happened, and the fact that you guys didn't do it, that this guy
won't let him do that.
Like, it's open. You can say whatever. I won't attack you. I won't try to gotcha you or anything. You can just say your version of events. It's open. I'm waiting to hear back from him. He said he would take me up on it, but that was a couple months ago, so I doubt it's going to happen. I was hoping he might actually do it so I could get the full scoop on it, but no, Devil Pig, very much different from Flying Pig. Flying Pig is good. You can trust any of their stuff. Devil Pig does have some good games. Heroes of Black Reach is worth getting. The Heroes of Normandy series is good, but what is out there now is what's going to be out there. There will be no new Devil Pig games along those lines, sadly.
So now that we devolved into sci-fi for a while, and you have to retcon the episode.
Hey, it's about war games, and Warhammer is a war game.
But we did at least get some really good information out there for people about new books that they may not be aware of, and hopefully we'll see it sometime in the future. It'd be great. Maybe, like I said, seriously, we should talk to Nick and see if we can get him on to play Long Road, and then we can hammer him and say, dude, you need to get a war game done for GE.
Yeah.
You can do
Mark could make a game for him.
Operational and tactical.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
Heroes of the Edge.
Heroes of the Edge. Yeah, exactly.
But are they under cease and desist?
No.
Or are they allowed to do that?
They do whatever they want.
No, they can do what they want. They're their own entity.
It's not Star Wars, but it is, right?
No, I mean,
all the characters are different. There are no Wookiees.
Yeah, so you can see the parallels to how they're similar, but this is like I said before, and don't get me wrong, I loved the original Star Wars. The Disney mess is but the original Star Wars is fantastic. I will give one exception to the Disney stuff. Rogue One was fantastic. Other than that, Mandalorian was good for 2 seasons. I didn't see the third, but that was it. As far as the other stuff, it's just garbage. For me, I don't like it. Galaxy's Edge is the grown-up version of what Star Wars, what you want it to be when you're an adult. And you can see all the things they're talking about in society, politics, the military, everything. It's all in there.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So here we got Heroes of Stalingrad. Yeah, we did that.
Yeah, that's all. It's all Heroes of Normandy, but it's just the Heroes of Normandy was the first game, and that's a system.
Yeah.
So
I have not seen Andor, but like I said, we'll talk to Nick and say, hey, dude, you can like Tales of the Legion or something like that. You can do a whole tactical line on that alone. And obviously miniatures would be neat, but no, you can do it with counters, hex and counter. Just do a regular tactical system.
Right? They have those cool minis. And
everyone wants minis.
54, 64, whatever they are, millimeter ones as well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're going to need a lot more space than you need a 4x6 table at that point. or at least a 3x3. 2x2 probably can get away with for some of those engagements, but do a whole hex encounter, and it would be even cool, like to have the Black Fleet and all that stuff brought in. That would be kind of neat, and then you can have planetary raids. Different fights on the different planets that you're on.
Yeah, because it's a whole like kind of, imagine doing the Savage Wars, right?
Oh god, yeah, that'd be great.
It'd be so cool with all the space hulks.
Hell yeah. That would be really awesome. And then you can do, and the other thing too, Nate, which is very different in Star Wars, there are very distinct species in this that at first you're gonna go, what the hell? What kind of, these sound stupid, and they're not. They're awesome. The different characters, the different factions that are in it, and
the donkeys, right?
The donks, yeah, you got the donks, the G. You've got the Kubla. They're donkey style humanoids. You got the Kublaran, the Kubes. They're basically the Kublaran, the Kubes. They're basically giant toads, but humanoid. And it sounds weird, but it works really well.
Big die.
Are you waving at Mo?
Hey, sweetheart, how are you?
Say hi.
Yeah, say hi.
Say hi.
Hi.
Say, Mommy lost me evidently, because Mommy's supposed to be keeping me quiet.
Bye.
No, they're not saying bye yet. We're going to put you on mute. Yes, we are.
Okay, so then Spare Rib saying Nick Cole's zombie series began with the Red King. And John Longshore said, you're not selling me. Well, that's your wife's job to sell you, not mine. I don't have ownership of you, so you'll have to talk to her.
Yeah, it's probably not a John Longshore story.
No, it's probably not. But if, like I said, if you're interested in something like that, definitely check it out. It's well worth your time. But we're going to wrap it up here for the April show. We'll come back in May. We'll have maybe a guest, maybe not. We'll see. But we'll have hopefully a more coherent schedule, because now hockey season's over for me. So now I get my weekends back finally, which is a nice change. So we're not going to have as many issues with scheduling on my part. So that's cool. But any last things for you guys? Nate, start with you.
Well, like I said, I've got the Fate of All that's getting ready to come. I have one that is going to be a prototype preview that is getting ready to hit Kickstarter this summer. And it is Aces in Armor. Yeah, Aces in Armor, because Air and Armor is the Compass game.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, so it's Aces in Armor. It's the sequel to Trench Warfare. I'm brain for it now. It's by PKD Games. They've got a Kickstarter releasing soon. Cool game. It's got minis, tanks, planes, hex grid. Similar to Company of Heroes, if you saw that played previously. Looks really good. I'm going to have a small preview of that upcoming, besides the Fate of All, and obviously going to be covering Burning Banners and some other stuff depending on what I get done, and the digital one, the Field of Glory Kingdoms. So that's what's coming for me.
Kev?
I think I'm good. I think I told everybody everything. It's kind of long list, so just stay tuned. Stuff's coming. It's all good.
Nice. And I'm gonna try to get back in the swing of things. I'm actually trying to finish up a Learn to Play right now. I'm almost about halfway through working on that one. Then we got to start recording for The Last Gamble and then Air and Armor. So I'll be really busy with those for a while.
That's cool.
So that's going to be good for everybody when they get those games in the next few months.
When's Air and Armor hitting?
July.
So July is when it ships, or when it?
July is when Air and Armor will ship, according to what Bill said in the last show. He said July.
Right, and that's the next one they got coming out.
No, next one is I think it's. Let's see. I think it might be. Is it the Paper Wars, or let me see? Schutztruppe. That's it. Schutztruppe is the next one.
Oh, okay.
And then Paper Wars, then Last Gamble, then Flanks of Gettysburg, Air and Armor. So that's the release schedule.
I'm excited about that. I'm ready. I'll be looking forward to watching your show.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. I think that's going to be, a lot of people are going to really be wanting to dig into that one because
Yeah.
that one's going to be pretty meaty, and it'll be a lot of fun. I think same with Aaron Armour. It'll be pretty meaty and it'll be pretty fun. Oh no, Ed, his hockey season ended yesterday too.
Did you guys get Bismarck the last
I did not. No.
I can't remember if I ordered it or if they sent it to me. So I had no idea if it was a review copy. So I just was like, it might be. I couldn't remember if I'd actually ordered that game or not. It was interesting. I mean,
you can look at your account and it'll tell you if you ordered it or not.
Yeah.
It would, wouldn't it?
Yes.
But
Mike is going to be doing unboxing of Red Strike. Nice. But I got that, and then I'm going to try to get some. I'm going to try to get more games played because I got rifles in the NOM that I want to sit down and play around with. I still have to break out and punch Fate of All because I was like, I'm not even going to try that with my schedule. I wasn't going to try opening it up even. Right. I just didn't have the time for it. And I mean, because even cutting the counters out and clipping them is going to be a little time consuming, as Gimpy was talking about. So that'll be fun, and maybe we'll get to talk about that a little bit more next month. And see how where their experiences are with that game at that point. And then, did you ever say anything to Fabrizio about clarifications on the rules issues that you had with the writing style?
I mentioned to him a couple of times, but it's just his English and European style of wording. Yeah, it kind of is what it is. All the other ones are the same, right? So I don't think he's going to change. It's a matter of me adapting, because I'm just used to wording a certain way, and it's kind of like, okay, let it go.
I know what you mean. There's that negative that's used in there sometimes, like the way it's worded. It's almost like
you can't do that.
Negative, yeah, like you can't not do this. Unless, blah, blah, blah. And it's not, hey, you can do this under these circumstances.
Oh, boy. Speak of the devil and look at who shows up.
Fabrizio, we're just talking all this junk about you. Good timing.
So we're just talking about the rules and how the style of European writing is different than American writing. So,
but we gave you glowing marks on your game earlier on. So don't be upset with this.
Yes. And Charles is going to be playing Atlantic Sentinels and Worthington's Gettysburg. Atlantic Sentinels looks like it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, Fabrizio, you should be happy. The first 15 minutes of the show were all about the Fate of All. So, thumbs up.
Yeah, Last Gamble and Aaron Armour. There's going to be multiple videos for Last Gamble, but they're going to be full-length learn to plays. Aaron Armour is going to be shorter videos, but it's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot of them. So, but anyway, that's it for this month's show. And we appreciate you guys joining us tonight and chatting in or adding in your 2 cents in the chat. And we will see you guys next month on the next Whiskey Charlie. And stay tuned. We may even have Friday night fights here in the next couple of weeks. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.